Yes, sorry. My name is Heaven Jordan, and I work with the FEC as a program associate. Yep, happy to be here.
Thanks, Heaven. And Heaven is helping out with some facilitation, sends out all of the wonderful updates about these calls and the notes. Thank you for hitting record. In case anyone wants to check out the notes afterwards, we can share that out. Since we are a pretty small group, actually, I might just do kind of a quick popcorn around to let folks introduce themselves. Just really quickly, maybe your name and your organization. If you want to share the icebreaker question, you can, and then we'll kind of get started with the rest of our agenda. So I'm just going to call on one person and then, just call on the next person and we'll popcorn it around from there. So I'm going to pass it to Verlinda to introduce yourself first.
Hello, how you guys doing? It's not Verlinda here, honestly. My name is Abdul Kamar. I just joined the communications team here at Department of Social Services, and I'm just joining this Zoom just to gain more knowledge about what's going on. Nice
Thanks for being here. If you want to pass it to the next person. And then I'll kick it to Dr. Anita.
Hi. Hi, good afternoon. By the way, Jordan, thank you so much for sending us all those emails. So we have you on our calendar. So I am with Community Engagement and Consultation Group. We are a nonprofit here in the state of Maryland, but one of our offices is based in Beltsville, Maryland. And we also are SNAP outreach agency with the Lifestyles of Southern Maryland, as well as other agencies that we partner up with to do other programs. My favorite springtime is preparing my garden, and the chickens love springtime because of the worms. I have chickens. Thank you.
Just like one of your chickens.
Yeah. No, they have names. The chickens have names.
Amazing.
Yes. I'll pass it on to Jill Forster.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jill, and I actually live in Annapolis, but we don't have a food council in Anne Arundel County. So I am an unaffiliated individual who is enthusiastic about sustainable ag and healthful, just food, and eager to learn more about the food system community.
I'm just going to speed things up and keep on passing it around. Roger, I'll pass it to you. Okay, let's try Haley.
Hi, I'm Haley Rice. I am the after school and summer meals specialist for the Maryland region at Capital Area Food Bank. And I will pop it off to Dewan.
Hi, Haley. Dewan Mason. I used to be with the Capital Area Food Bank. When I joined this group, I'm now with the Coalition for Racial Equity and Democratic Economy at Georgetown. And the reason I'm here is because we're launching grocery co-ops in Prince George's and in east of the river. So I will pass it off to Chloe.
Hey everybody, I'm Chloe Waterman. I use she, her pronouns. I live in Brentwood, Maryland. I work for Friends of the Earth, and I am a volunteer co-chair of the Food Equity Council. And I will take a Harrison, have you gone?
Nope, sorry for the late arrival. I tried the old link 17 times, so we're good now. Harrison Palmer, I'm with the Prince George's County Farm Bureau, the Prince George's County Soil Conservation District. And I'll pass to Kim.
Hey everyone, I'm Kim Rush Lynch. I'm the program manager and planner for the Urban Ag Conservation Program for the Prince George's Soil Conservation District. And I'm one of the founding members of the Food Equity Council, and I'm also a member of our Farm Bureau. And I'm gonna kick it off to, I see Julia just hopped on.
Raymond, I think that's off to you.
I was just about to hop in and
too many Julias.
apologies. My last meeting was running behind a little bit. Are we just doing a quick intro? Okay.
Yep, just your name, any affiliation, organization, or where you're from in the county.
Sure. Hi, my name is Julia Raymond. Pronouns are she, her, hers, and I am a brand new resident to Prince George's County. I have been doing food systems work for the better part of 2 decades, and I currently work with a small business called Curate. And so we focus on economic empowerment through the lens of local procurement. So we partner with anchor institutions to do procurement from local food and beverage businesses.
Great, thanks for being here. Mark, I'll pass it to you.
Hi, I'm Mark Huffman. I'm the Director of Client Services at Laurel Advocacy and Referral Services. We have the biggest food pantry in the Laurel community. We're also working on a very interesting, I think, grant that combines gardening, food insecurity, and mental health. So,
great, we're gonna have to talk about that later.
Bridget, maybe? Bridget?
Thanks, Mark. My name's Bridget Warren. I'm program manager at the Office of Food Security. We're located at DSS and hi, Abdul, and work on a variety of initiatives that came out of a county council food security task force a couple of years ago. And I don't see our outreach coordinator, Kyra Cook, on the call, but she's now with us, and she'll be working on outreach and food assistance.
Thanks, Bridget. I think we got everyone except
I'm sorry, I was going to pop over to Casey, but maybe she's not here anymore.
Yeah, I know Casey was on. Maybe she had to jump off. Anyone on the phone who wants to introduce themselves, or anyone we may have missed?
Hello, this is Alex Cordova. I'm a community development specialist at the USDA Center for Faith-Based and Neighborhood Partnerships. Recently rejoined the council as a member, I think late last year, mid last year, but was a member for a few years, about 5 or 6 years ago. So I live in Silver Spring, but was born and raised in PG County, and excited to be here. So thanks.
Great, thanks for joining us. Anyone else? Okay, we're gonna continue on with the rest of our agenda then. We don't normally do full group introductions. Typically we have a slightly bigger call, but today is a smaller group. Really, it's just, you know, a quick call to share some updates about some of the work that we've been doing. We know our meeting schedule has been a little bit haphazard lately. And I'm glad somebody brought up the confusing meeting links, because that reminded me, I just wanted to kind of like take a really quick informal poll to see if other folks have been having trouble with the meeting links. We've had a whole host of calendar invite issues over the years, honestly. So we definitely apologize for any confusion there. So maybe just like drop in the chat if like you also have calendar challenges or Zoom link challenges, because we can try to address this more than we have recently if needed. But I know you have a few different floating calendar invites out there. You can also just give me like maybe a thumbs up if you are experiencing calendar challenges or Zoom challenges. See one. Maybe it's not so bad then. Okay. Harrison, feel free to ping me after this, or Heaven, and we can try to address that. Okay, so we're going to move on with our agenda. Like I said, this is a pretty quick informal call. We had anticipated moving to a hybrid meeting schedule. So we were originally thinking that this would be a hybrid meeting. But you know, because we are definitely in this transition period, and I'll talk about that in a little bit, we decided to just keep this as like a quick virtual thing. But we're looking to shift things over potentially for our next quarterly meeting, which would be in July. So we'll talk about that in a second, but I'm just going to pull up my screen and share the agenda in case anyone didn't have a chance to look at that before this call. So give me 1 second. So here is our agenda for today. This is our April 25th FEC meeting. We just got started with some introductions. We typically cover our foundational principles and goals during these meetings. If you click on our agenda, you can find those linked here. I am not going to read through every single one of them right now, but I'm just going to share this with you all so you can know where that is. Please do read through these if you haven't had a chance to look at them in the past. This kind of just shares like our reason for being here and the work that we do and the work that we're striving to accomplish together. So please do familiarize yourself with this document if you haven't seen it in the past. Okay, I'm going to jump back to our agenda. Apologies for being brief with all of this, but I know your time is precious and everyone is probably looking to get out of here within the hour. I'm also a bit unwell, under the weather today, hence the brevity. So as I mentioned, we are dealing with some staffing changes and updates. So this brings us to the second bucket on our agenda, these organizational updates. So one exciting new hire has been our consultant, Dreesen Heath, who has joined us as a school meal research and engagement specialist. She is working part-time with the Food Equity Council to really dive into some research on school meal engagement, looking at kind of who is enrolling in our school meal programs, kind of what are opportunities to expand outreach to families in Prince George's County to ultimately get more folks signed up and more students enrolled in school meal programs in the county. So she's doing that research and ultimately will have a report published on some of her findings and her recommendations. If anyone on this call is in this world, in this school meal world, I would love to chat with Dreesen. I would love to connect you. So please do let me know. And I can make that connection because she is currently looking for folks to kind of interview and talk to as she just now dives into this like initial research phase. Or if you just want more information about the project she's working on, please do let me know. I am sure at some point we will have her on this call to present her research, but we'll probably wait until she is a little bit further into that research, but before we do that. So again, please do feel free to let me know if you are interested in connecting with her. Then the second big update, I think most of you, probably all of you know this, but Sydney Daigle, our prior director of the Food Equity Council, who has been with us since the beginning of the Food Equity Council. She stepped down from her role, I guess it was last mid-March, I think it was. So she is no longer serving as the director. We're currently rehiring that position and we're moving forward with the interview process. So we should have an update for you all in the next couple months. I would say definitely, hopefully by the time we have our next quarterly meeting in July. Sydney is still around and working with us and supporting us as a consultant for the Food Equity Council. So she is not entirely gone. So we still have some of her expertise. She's just working in kind of a limited scope because she is now living in the UK, which is a different time zone. So we have her around for a few hours a week, which is a great opportunity to make sure we don't lose some of her kind of long steeped into institutional knowledge. Let's see, I think that covers it. Any questions about either of those updates? Okay, moving forward, the second bullet here, I just wanted to quickly share that at the end of March, we hosted IPHI, our fiscal sponsor, hosted a regional food policy council retreat that the FEC and a few of our members attended, along with other food policy councils in the DMV region. And it was really an opportunity to kind of collaborate and connect and share about what we're working on and what we're moving forward with advancing in terms of some of our policy goals. A lot of us have been kind of, you know, we've been working pretty tirelessly throughout the pandemic, and we really thought it would be a great opportunity to connect with each other and just hear about what we're working on and what we're seeing on the ground in our different communities, because is a lot of overlap with some of the things that we're working on. So I'm not sure if we have any of the attendees that joined us for that. We tried to have kind of a diverse representation of different folks that are FEC members, and were able to join us and speak to some of the work from different working groups. So if any of our FEC members who are able to join that, if you guys are on, I'm just going to pause for a second and see if you want to share anything about the retreat on March 31st. And now I'm clicking through the attendees. I'm not sure if we have that many folks on. Okay. But we will be sharing notes and kind of takeaways from that retreat probably in the coming weeks. So please stay tuned for that, and we'll try to make sure that's circulated via our listserv. Okay, so then moving along, I also mentioned previously that we are shifting to a quarterly meeting schedule. As most of you know, we had previously been meeting monthly, but we thought that a quarterly schedule would be a little bit more manageable, since I know everyone has far too many meetings on your schedule. So our next meeting will likely be in July. I know it's summertime, so hopefully that works out for folks. And then we'll also likely be shifting to that hybrid meeting schedule, probably kind of this same fourth Tuesday of the month, 3 to 5 p.m. time. So just please be aware of that. If anyone has any kind of comments or feedback on that meeting schedule, feel free to use the chat to share that. Okay, so then our next update is kind of our committee updates that I know Heaven is going to spearhead. Before we jump into that, any questions, thoughts, comments about anything I shared about our organizational updates?
Yes, Julie, I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're to this group, I'd definitely love to get every information possible regarding our partners who's in this group, what people are doing. Is it possible to have a group drive where we have emails? We can share emails or programs that people are doing, because I find that tends to help, especially, if we're doing different things. And also to see a calendar of events. I know Jordan does a great job, sending out emails and reminders, but it would also be great to have a calendar of events, because we have staff that, can always send to different events that anyone is hosting.
Definitely. We do have a Google Drive where we have all the information that's for the Food Equity Council. It's a little bit messy, but it's definitely a valuable resource that is open to anyone in this group who wants to dig through that. We also have started a orientation meeting for all new FEC members. And so we have been hosting that right before this meeting. So apologies, we weren't able to get you connected to that meeting in advance of this meeting, but Heaven actually just hosted that with a few new members just before today's call. So we can set up another time for you or any other new members if you weren't able to make that today. If you want to join us for kind of like a mini orientation to get a little bit more familiar with the work that we do at the Food Equity Council, some of our resources and the information on who our members are. So please just, let us know who you are, and Heaven or I can reach out to you after this call to set something up. Regarding a roster of FEC members, we have an application process where folks it's kind of apply to be an FEC member. It's a very loose application process. We really want to make it as open to anyone in the community as possible. But we also want to just kind of get to know you and learn a little bit about why you want to join the FEC, hence the application process. So through that, we have a list of our FEC members. It's not currently public. Something we would love to put together is a roster of FEC members that we can put on our website. So I'm just throwing this out there because our staff team is at pretty low capacity right now because of our staff transition. So I think on Heaven's long-term dream to-do list is putting together that roster. But like I said, we're all a little bit swamped. So if there are any volunteers who are interested in helping us put that together, which would be kind of a more public list of our FEC members, please do let us know. We would love to have your help getting that out there so you all can know, who's in these Zoom rooms and who is a part of our FEC network. Did that answer your question?
It does. We'll definitely reach out to you. Send you an email. It may not necessarily be today, but I would definitely
Perfect.
reach out to you, and so we would love to really get to know what others are doing and be part of this, this community.
Great, that sounds good. And we also do have a FEC Google group where our members and our staff team shares updates and events and all that good stuff. So we'll be sure to add anyone on this call who's not already on that list. Okay. Evan, I will pass it to you for FEC committee updates. Also, if you want to share any other kind of opportunities for folks to get involved in our work or learn about what we're working on, feel free to chime in with that.
Yes, and I'll start off by saying, touching base on what I just shared in the chat. So we do have a promotion tracker. We have been promoting it more within our food assistance provider network, but happy to also share if you guys have any events or any programs that you think would be that need to be promoted. You can drop any information into the spreadsheet or also flyers, and we're happy to promote them and also cross promote within the Google group as well. So I know everyone has a lot going on, so I think this is kind of like a way to streamline that a little bit. But I also wanted to talk about our committees. So now we're going to discuss our committees and work groups and kind of just have a high level update of our committees that are currently active right now. So I can get started with our farmers market committee, which I lead alongside my co-chair, Christina Berthelot. So lately we have been really focusing on marketing the farmers markets this season. We heard that there was just a lot of confusion and not like a streamlined way to know which markets are happening when and where, and vendor opportunities, and also learn which farmers markets are accepting which benefits. So we currently have a listing, and I'll drop it in the chat. It's a digital listing of the markets in the county, and we're also going to try to keep it updated so that if there are any pop-up markets that occur throughout the season, we will hopefully be updating that on a regular basis for the community, and also for you all to share out throughout through your networks. And then we also have a graphic that can be shared on social media and a flyer. So if you all know of any like libraries or community resources, places that serve the community that you think it would be nice to advertise this, you can share it easily. So that's pretty much in a nutshell what we've been working on. We hope to continue meeting starting next month. We've been meeting about every other month, but we want to get into more of a regular rhythm. So if you're interested in joining those meetings, you can send over your email to me, and I would be happy to add you to that email chain. And even if you can't attend the meetings, I know some folks also just want to know what's going on. We send notes to those meetings, and we have lots of updates there too, and resources. So if anyone's interested, you can email me at heaven@pgcfec.org. And now I'm going to pass it over back to Julia really quickly so she can share any updates for the Food Assistance Provider Support Committee, and then we'll jump to other committees.
Sure. So I help lead our Food Assistance Provider Support Group Committee, which is a bit of a mouthful. So if anyone has any better names for our group, feel free to chime in with those. So this group is a small group of folks that are helping us kind of steer some of the work that we're doing to support our food assistance provider community and food pantry community. So like many of you probably know, we've been hosting a monthly call series specifically for food assistance providers in the county. That call is hosted on the first Thursday of every month. So our upcoming call will be on, let's see, I think May 4th at 1 p.m. So if anyone is interested in joining that call, feel free to let me know. We typically kind of structure these calls somewhat similar to how we do these calls, but we typically have speakers and updates that are a little bit more relevant to food pantries and food assistance providers. So again, feel free to let me know if you are interested in joining that group. Our support group committee meets every other month to steer kind of the direction of those calls. We brainstorm call topics or speakers, as well as additional resources needed to support those providers or to support the work that we do to kind of get out the information about food assistance resources. So some of the work that we've done in partnership with DSS has been to put together a food assistance resource guide that we got translated into over 5 languages, and that's available on our website. So we've been working to meet with community groups as well as individual food assistance providers to kind of get that resource out to different communities. And so those kind of community leaders can really distribute that resource to their clients and their community networks as needed. So there's a lot of work that we're doing with that group. So again, please just let me know if you are interested in joining that work group, and we'd be happy to have you at our next meeting, which I believe will be in mid-May. So Heaven, I will pass it to you. And Heaven, you're muted.
Thank you. I also dropped in the chat some outreach resources if folks want to share out the farmers market listing to any organizations or within the community. And next up, we have the Food Rescue Committee, which is also me. So we are in the process of restarting the Food Rescue Committee. For those of you who may not be familiar, we run a food rescue program, which essentially redirects surplus food from businesses such as grocery stores, farmers markets, farms, restaurants, bakeries, anyone that may have surplus food that they would typically throw away, and redirect it to food assistance providers in the county. And we are setting up a call, kind of a group to help us with donor, to get more donors, donor recruitment. So this first meeting will happen within the next week or two. So if you're interested in potentially helping us recruit new donors or want to learn a little bit more about the Food Rescue Committee, please send your email to me, and I would be happy to include you on that that invite. So more to come there, and I will definitely share this in the Google group when that happens. And yeah, let me know. So next up we have the Urban Ag Committee, and I know Kim is on. So Kim, if you would mind sharing a little bit about the work that's been going on in that committee.
Not at all. So our last meeting was actually this last week, and Human Haidarian, I don't know if you guys remember Human from his work with EcoCity Farms. He also worked for Fair Farms, and he's been a member of our Urban Farm Support Committee for quite some time. Well, he is now working for RAFI, which is the Rural Advancement Farming. I forget the acronym stands for, but I'll look it up real quick for everyone. But he's part of the Farmers of Color Network now, working on urban ag policy. So he'll be popping in now and again just to talk about the work that they're doing, and also to see how RAFI can support the work that we're doing in our jurisdiction. We've been working on the urban ag property tax credit. That's just sort of at a hiatus for the moment. I know that Julie and Heaven, totally appreciate you They're going to be reaching out to some of our council members over the next couple of weeks for our co-chair Liz, as well as Harrison Palmer with Farm Bureau to meet with council members just to talk about some of the changes that need to be made. In addition, we also talked about how we might be able to support our council member Juanica Fisher, who is now the farm committee representative for Prince George's County. If the Council of Governments has a farm committee for food and ag issues, and she is our representative, so we'd like to spend some time chatting with her about some of the issues in the county and bring her up to speed. In addition, we also talked about Councilmember Jolene Ivey had expressed some interest in composting and had some questions. So our office is meeting with her sometime this week to talk a little about her questions that she had from a budget hearing for our organization. But also this group might be interested to know that home-based composting is actually not allowed per the zoning ordinance. So we might bring that up to her, and that might be another place where we can work with council in the future. Other than that, Jennifer Fairfax and myself and the committee are kind of starting a brainstorm document for a permitting matrix for agriculture. We're hoping to work with that on our ag marketing educator, Charlie Sasser. So there will be a Google form survey going out shortly to kind of query farmers about, the places where they feel there needs to be a little bit more clarification or just general information about the kinds of things that they may want to do on their operations, just so we can find out if they, what things would require a permit or some type of regulation. And I believe that is it, unless I know Harrison's on that committee, unless he has anything to add, or you haven't.
Yeah, I think you about covered everything we could imagine, Kim.
Yep, I think so too. Thank you so much, Kim, for sharing. Next up, we have the Food and Jails Committee. Chloe, do you mind sharing out about that committee?
Yeah, sure, no problem. So we have there's a campaign that is led by PG Changemakers and Life After Release that Prince George's County Food Equity Council supports and kind of functions as a subcommittee. And our goal is to reform the carceral food environment in the Prince George's County Jail. So we have a campaign that is currently developing our policy recommendations and trying to get legislation introduced that would do a few things that would set some mandatory nutrition standards for meals served in the jail, would set some responsible sourcing standards using the Good Food Purchasing Program, would prevent third-party vendors like Aramark from holding jail contracts, since that has led to reduced food quality, and create more oversight and accountability for the jail. It's really, we've been doing a lot of focus groups and research and have found that the carceral food environment in our jail is really unacceptable. It's a violation of human rights of people who live in our county. And so that's the impetus for the campaign and where we're at right now. And if anyone is interested in joining the campaign right now, it's only open to people who are not part of the Prince George's County government, because that could create some conflicts of interest. But for anybody else who's interested in joining that campaign and that working group, I'll put my email in the chat and I can connect you and get you on our calendar invites. I think our next meeting is in a couple weeks. I think it's next week well, actually I can't remember when it is, so I will just share it with you once you send me your email.
Thank you so much, Chloe. And then next we have PG Fresh. Scarlett, do you mind sharing a little update about that?
I can also jump in if needed.
Okay, yes.
I don't believe we have any of our committee leaders. This committee is led by our FEC co-chair, Turin Shaw, as well as Leslie Jefferson. I don't have too much of an update on this, but I just wanted to make folks aware that we do have a group of folks that is working to move forward with our Food is Medicine program, which we call Prince George's Fresh. We launched this can't even remember, but it was like 2 years ago or something. And we are just wrapping up our pilot phase of the program, and we're working on kind of finishing up our first or kind of last cohort, I should say, of participants in the program. Participants who are enrolled in the program are referred by a participating clinic in Prince George's County. We have 5 clinics that are participating in the program. They screen their patients for food insecurity and diet-related chronic illness, and then refer those patients to our program, to our health navigators. Scarlett is one of our health navigators, who then enroll them in the program, which means they receive $80 every month to purchase fresh and frozen fruits and vegetables at Giant stores in the county, as well as receive a host of other nutrition, education, classes, and resources, as well as kind of additional food assistance, resource support, like accessing food pantries or getting signed up for other benefit programs. So we're just wrapping up this last cohort. We should have some initial data available later this summer. And then we're also looking for additional funding opportunities to continue the next phase of the program. So we don't have as much of an open committee for this group. It's really kind of the core group of folks that were involved in launching this program initially. But if anyone is super interested in learning more, or potentially having kind of a smaller group meeting to learn about the program, we're always happy to share more information. So, you know, as we mentioned with the other committees, feel free to drop your contact information in the chat and we can reach out to you if you want more info. Maybe this is back to me, Heaven. I'll continue on with our agenda. I think those are all of our committee updates. Hopefully I didn't miss one because I know we have quite a few committees that are doing some incredible work. But we really just wanted to mostly focus this meeting on the work that these committees are doing. We also have a Google form where we have all of our committees listed out. So you can sign up for a committee there if that's easier than reaching out to somebody individually. Either way works, but that's also listed on our website. And if you haven't checked out our new website, please do. There's still some things that we're trying to address with it, but it is our flashy new site that we're really proud to have. And it's a lot easier to find information on some of our work. So please do check that out if you haven't already had a chance to do so. Okay, so the next thing on our agenda, I just wanted to quickly share that our spring intern put together a legislative tracker tool. So throughout the Maryland General Assembly, she was meeting with different groups that were tracking different bills. And she put that together in a tracker that I can link, or maybe haven't already beat me to it. Here we go. I'll link it in the chat if anyone wants to take a look at that. But she kind of provided a recap of where things stand with some of those bills, whether they were passed or what happened through the session. So please check that out if you haven't already done that. I know she also sent it out via email, I think yesterday maybe. So that has a wealth of information if you want to kind of get a recap of what happened during this past session. Okay, and then the next thing I have on my agenda is the county budget listening, the budget hearings, county council budget hearings. So one of the budget hearings was on April 24th, and I believe there's another one on May 2nd, but if somebody knows more about this process, please correct me, since I feel like I'm still catching up from being on vacation. But we are hoping to testify for the May 2nd budget hearing if possible. And we always encourage FEC members to join us in testifying. So we'll be sending out additional information about that process with a testimony guide that we'll be updating. We put together testimony for the county executives budget listening session, but this is kind of the next stage of that, which is the county council budget hearings. So more to come with that, but keep your eyes on our FEC listserv, as well as our newsletter, because we'll be sending out information there if anyone is able to testify via written testimony or in person or virtually. There are multiple ways to do that. Any questions or anyone who is more kind of steeped in this budget process than I am, if you want to chime in about any other opportunities to get involved or any updates there, please feel free. And thank you, Bridget, for adding the link for the budget portal that has more information on kind of this process in general. Okay, going once, going twice. I highly encourage folks to join us in testifying if you can. It's a great opportunity. It's really, really helpful. And we'll be asking to support some of the work that we're doing, some of the work that our committees are doing. So it's a really valuable way to get involved in some of the work that we do together. Okay. So I think the last agenda item is just member announcements. So our next meeting is on July 25th. That will likely be a hybrid meeting. We'll be sending out additional information once we square that plan away a little bit. So more to come from us. And we will also be sending out a host of other information. We always send out our notes, the recording. We'll send out information about the budget hearing process. We will be sure to keep everyone posted about our rehiring process. The other thing that we didn't talk about earlier in the agenda, I think it was this past January, maybe it was before that, we just shared an update that FEC's 10-year anniversary will be this fall. I know it's not even summer yet, still spring, but trust me, this fall will come very quickly. So we would love to host some kind of event, likely in person, maybe virtual, we'll see. So if anyone is interested in getting involved in the planning process for this event, please do let us know. Hopefully once things slow down a little bit on our end, we'll be able to regroup and get out some more information to put together a committee to help plan that event and do some brainstorming. So with that, I will open it up to anyone else. If you have any updates or anything you want to share about the work that you're doing with your committee or the organization you work with or in the county, the floor is yours. And we have about 15 minutes left. So yeah, happy to hear what you guys are thinking or working on. So Chloe, I see your every hand up, so I'll pass it to you.
Yeah, I'll kick it off. Thanks. So, and I know, Julia, you mentioned the work that our new school meals program coordinator is working on. Now is a really important time for school meals at the federal level. The USDA is making its once in every 5 years revision to the school nutrition standards, the school meal patterns. So this is a really important time if you're a stakeholder in that, whether you're a parent, if you know parents, you know students, you're a doctor, an expert on health to weigh in on those rules. In my day job, one of the initiatives that we're working on is expanding healthy, culturally appropriate, and climate friendly or plant forward options in the school meal program, and see the this update to the meal patterns as a crucial tool for doing that. So if that's a perspective that you agree with, I'm putting a link to a toolkit in the chat that's geared toward parents and students who want to make their voice heard on the rule. It takes less than 10 minutes to comment. So I would encourage folks to do it. You can just kind of copy and paste from a generic template if you want, or it's best to personalize your messages as much as possible. And if any organizations are interested in commenting as an organization, we also have 2 sets of template comments, one that's focused on the kind of plant forward element, and then another that's focused on how the meal patterns can support values aligned food procurement, support more local food procurement, organic, support labor, things like that. And so I'm happy to share with you those. They're more geared toward organizations, so they're longer and more technical. And that's all.
Thanks, Chloe. We'll be sure to share the link for that in the notes as well and get that out via our FEC listserv. Kim, I'll pass it to you.
Thank you. The district is hosting its 2nd annual spring seedling giveaway and vendor fair. Last year, we sort of had a pilot programs launch. This year, we're partnering again with Park and Planning, but it will be held at Darnell's Chance Museum in Upper Marlboro on June 3rd from 10 to 2. Right now, we're searching for vendors, food and ag related vendors. We have a few urban farmers that are planning to vend, and a few that are actually doing some talks. So there'll be more information on that coming up soon for those who just want to attend and pick up some seedlings. But right now we're looking for vendors, and I'll put that link in the chat box. Thank you.
Thanks, Kim. Dr. Anita.
No, I just want to make a comment. This is an amazing, amazing resources that you've shared. It's the first time I've heard of what's going on. Although I've had a lot of work done in the county, but just be us being part of this group and knowing what everybody else is doing, and also seeing the changes in the county, especially with diversity, because 90% of the people we serve are ethnic racial groups. So it is amazing, especially with the food as medicine, because I just had a webinar on food as medicine last month, which was nutritional month. I think it was March, yeah, nutritional month, and it's just heartbreaking talking to people who can actually find resources in the county. But now knowing that this group exists, you are going to be flooded with a whole lot of referrals from us. Now, the one question I have is, is there an eligibility process? Because some of these people are also on like SNAP programs. They're also on other different benefits. Would that be more like double dipping? I mean, how does it work?
Are you asking for the food as medicine program in particular?
Yes. Yes.
So eligibility is just that folks are referred from a participating clinic. So we have 5 participating clinics. And those folks that are referred have to be kind of diagnosed as food insecure and have a diagnosis of a diet-related chronic illness. So diabetes, prediabetes, and hypertension. So that's the criteria right now. We're hoping that in the future, we can open this program up to more folks, not just those 5 participating clinics, but because of funding constraints and because we're just wrapping up with the pilot stage, we're keeping it pretty small. I believe we have 85 participants in the first pilot. Scarlett, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's 85.
I see.
Yes, yeah, you're right. 85 currently.
Thank you.
Yeah, because I see that, some folks may not necessarily be clients with the participating clinics, but have their own private doctors, even if they are on Medicaid. So, if once you open it up to everybody else, I think that would be a great good opportunity for more folks to participate.
Yep, I totally agree. Yeah, happy to share more information after this call. But yeah, the dream is to keep opening it up to more and more participants in the county. So we'll see how funding and resources pan out.
Thank you.
Any other questions, comments, anything to share? Okay, and I think we'll wrap this up. So like I said, we will be sure to send out everything via the notes and in our listserv. So if you are not already subscribed to our Google group as well as our mailing list, please drop your contact information in the chat so we have that information. Or if you are not already receiving our calendar invite, everyone who's on the Google group should be receiving the calendar invite. But again, we've experienced some challenges, so bear with us. But it was great to see you all. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy days to be here. And we will see you either virtually or in person, or maybe both at our July meeting. So hope you have a great rest of your evening and we'll be in touch. Bye all.
Thank you. Thanks, FEC.
Thanks, y'all.
Thanks.
Thank you so much.
Good seeing you.
See you.
Kevin. Great call. I think, do you want to stop the recording and just make sure it's saved like on your laptop or somewhere? I always get nervous because of all our weird